Okay, so today we're going to start working on a perspective drawing that's 1-point perspective, and it's a city landscape. So you're going to start out first with a vanishing point and a horizon line. I would draw these really lightly because you're probably going to be erasing a lot of this stuff. Now, we always like to start out by drawing an X, and these are actually guidelines that are going to help us through the process. These lines will be erased. And notice that I'm not worrying about making my lines going from corner to corner. They're going through the center vanishing point, but they're not, the goal is not to hit the corners of the page, okay? Now, after we get the X drawn, we're gonna start with the road. You're gonna put your pencil on the vanishing point and you're gonna create the sidewalk first on the road, along the road. And we are going to start out with the cracks of the sidewalk. Now imagine you're on the interstate and you're looking at that yellow line in the middle of the road. And as you look in the distance, that yellow line will get closer together and eventually kind of fade away. So anytime you go back towards the vanishing point, your lines are going to kind of get closer together and fade away. Now I'm going to make sure that you are drawing these lines parallel to the page and horizontal. So always kind of look at the edge of the page and the ruler and make sure that it is horizontal. Pull the ruler back a little bit more. Continue drawing. And as I get closer to the vanishing point, those lines are going to get closer together and they're going to fade. All right. Now, we're going to create the edge of the sidewalk. So it's going to be kind of a narrow line coming along the edge of the sidewalk that you just drew. And this is where you're really going to have to know the terminology that we're going to use. So we're going to use the words perpendicular, parallel, vertical, horizontal. Those are all words that you're going to need to know. Perpendicular lines create a right angle. So we have this horizontal line, so we're going to need to create a vertical line. Again, kind of align that ruler with the edge of the page to make sure that it is vertical. And these are all supposed to be 90-degree angles that we're drawing. That helps give that illusion that is indeed a 3D sidewalk. All right. So if you wanted to add like an area with like a rain gutter in the center of the road, you could do that as well. You can shade that in, create some lines, and there we go. The next step is the buildings on our perspective drawing, and I've come up with kind of like a little rhyme that is 5 lines, okay? We're gonna start at the edge of the paper. We're gonna draw 1 line going horizontally across, 2 down the diagonal, 3 straight down to the ground, 4 straight down to the ground again, 5 back across the side. Essentially what we have is a rectangle and a trapezoid. A lot of times I like to darken this line again just for because visually people like it. And then after you get done with that, you can erase the horizon line and part of the X. So this is the beginning of your building. So we're gonna come on this side and do one over here. All right, 1 horizontal to the line, 2 down the diagonal, 3 vertical straight down to the ground, 4 vertical straight down to the ground again, 5 back across the side. When you start to draw the buildings that are behind these, you're gonna kind of bring your pencil down a little bit from this line, and you're gonna start again. 1 across, 2 down the diagonal, 3 straight down to the ground, 4 straight down to the ground again, 5 back across the side. Now most people forget the 5th line, And also one thing to keep in mind too is that this line that's on the diagonal determines the front of the building and determines how long the building is going to be. Now I've had some students that like to draw taller buildings coming up from the back. So you can do that, but the problem is you're going to have to use the vanishing point for the diagonal, okay? That's the reason why I'd like to do the X, because it takes away that step and makes it a little bit easier when you're learning to draw. But I do like to show that in case someone wants to learn how to do a building that's a little bit taller. So these diagonal lines are all going towards this one vanishing. We're gonna start working on the windows of the buildings, and the lines that you need to pay attention to are the horizontal and the vertical lines on this side. Since those lines are vertical and horizontal, the windows and the doors are also going to be used with those types of lines. But on this side, you've got the lines going to the vanishing point for the top and the bottom, and then the vertical as the sides. So the windows are also going to have those same type of lines. So I went ahead and drew these windows with the vertical and horizontal, and I'm gonna use the tops and the bottoms of those to try to kind of help me learn how to draw the top and the bottom for the ones on the side. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a light line because I know I'm gonna erase some of it. And this is going to be the top and the bottom for the windows that I'm gonna put on this building. And then I'm going to kind of create my rectangular shapes that I will use to continue those windows. And then the top of the door is going to be drawn to the vanishing point, and the sides are also going to be vertical. Make sure that your ruler is parallel with the other vertical lines in the drawing. When things start going diagonal and progressing, it's really confusing, and sometimes your eyes play tricks on you. So you want to make sure that you are indeed making those lines vertical and horizontal. All right, I'm going to continue on drawing some other details with these buildings and adding some fun character to each building. Like I said, I would recommend looking on the internet at some fun images that you like, some pictures of architecture that you're drawn to, and use some of those as inspiration. Often I have students that want to create a pitched roof in a picture, so I'm going to show you how to go about that. Usually what we will do is to create an X to find the center of the side of the building that's going towards the vanishing point. And this is the middle. And if you can't just measure it, it's not a normal thing because it is drawn towards the perspective. Once you find the center, you can create a line that goes up above the top of the building, which will tell you the pitch of the roof. Then you can draw that as tall as you want, and then those lines will be connected to the corners of that side of the building. Then you can create the top of that roof across and then erase the lines that you don't need.